All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 9th, 2020 meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice that the meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice to the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting a notice in accordance with Township policy. Information on remote access to the meeting was sent via email to the Suburban Trends, Daily Record, and Record newspapers and posted on the Township website.
Thank you. Now, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
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 All right, we're getting good at that, gang. All right, clerk, please call the roll call.
Right, Mayor, could everybody put themselves on mute unless they're talking, because there's so much feedback here.
Yeah, I'm hearing that too. I just heard that when you clicked off. All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Mrs. Florence Lynch.
Here. I had to unmute again.
Mr. Cole.
Here.
Mr. Phelan.
Here.
Mrs. Russell. Here. Mayor Hurd.
I am here.
We have a
All
quorum.
right, Mr. Brewer, will you please review the format of this meeting for the public?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As a result of the ongoing issues associated with coronavirus and COVID-19, this meeting is being held via Zoom. There are 4 public hearings currently scheduled on the agenda, as well as 2 public comment portions. If individuals would like to speak, if they could please raise their hand or indicate so during on the chat function when the appropriate time comes up in the agenda. I can have them be recognized by you, Mr. Mayor, and the rest of the council, and they can participate in the meeting that way.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Brewer.
Thank you.
Okay, so there are
I
no present.
think you're the feed problem. When somebody else is talking, you need to put yourself on mute.
All right, I'll do that next. There are no presentations scheduled for this evening, so reports from volunteers. At this time, if there are reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Mr. Brewer?
Mr. Mayor, no hands have been raised.
Okay. Moving right along. Public comment. Next on the agenda is public comments. The public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please raise your hand, wait to be recognized, and provide your name and address for the record. Mr. Brewer?
Mr. Mayor, I'll just give everybody another few seconds in case they want to participate. Please raise your hands as the mayor indicated.
Going to mute. Rich, tell me if it makes it any different.
Mr. Mayor, no hands have been raised.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brewer. All right, there being no public comments, we'll continue with the agenda. Next on the agenda is the manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, sir. As indicated in the memo disseminated as a component of the packet, first item, just a quick update on coronavirus and COVID-19. Updates to the website have been provided for the council. Additionally, as indicated, the Public Works Department and Police Department came back to regular schedules June 1st. The rest of the staff will be returning June 15th. We're going to be retrofitting the municipal building and other buildings with necessary partitions to satisfy the various concerns over public health. Staff will be required to wear masks in public space and when interacting with the public once they do come back in the building. I'm hoping to reopen the building for public the week of June 22nd, depending upon how the retro fits and making sure everybody has the assigned space that they need. As the mayor noted earlier in conversation, the governor did announce some relaxation of the various restrictions associated with the executive orders that exist. We haven't read those yet. The press has obviously reported on them, and the governor did say what they would be. So as soon as we have the documents in hand and have an opportunity to review them, that information will be posted so the public can review what is now or what will be in place. But, we did have some positive movement. The week of June 22nd, we are going to have, hairdressers and nail salons. June 15th, non-essential retail can open with certain restrictions. So hopefully we can see a lot of our stores on our main streets, Newark, Pompton Turnpike, et cetera, opening up, and we begin to see some retail traffic there. In addition, July 6th, camps are going to be allowed. Meeting with parks staff to talk about how the township's camp will proceed. We expect the camp to happen. So that's something that we just have to iron out the details, because in addition to the executive order, there's a whole body of guidelines that the state has put out that we have to comply with. PV Park, the grand opening is this Saturday, June 13th. I tried to point out in the memo all the things have changed by striking the text that has changed since the last time it was written and adding things after it, because it is a dynamic situation. The picnic pavilions and picnic areas will be open as of June 15th. So that was something that previously wasn't permitted. And as we move forward with hopeful relaxation of certain restrictions, we will adjust our operations accordingly. But PV Park is open and will be open and ready to go tomorrow, June 10th, as almost a soft opening and a dry run to get through everything in anticipation of Saturday. But it will be open beginning tomorrow, including Thursday and Friday, and then the grand opening will be this Saturday. So my compliments to the public works staff, my compliments to the Parks and Recreation staff. I'd like to thank them for working hard to make sure that was done as quickly and inexpensively and effectively as possible. We have a number of capital ordinances, or a number of ordinances on for this evening, one salary ordinance and three capital ordinances, which I can address at the time of those public hearings. And then we have some discussion items, which I will refrain from reporting on unless anyone wants to ask me specific questions now.
So the concession guy is going to be there on the 13th, or did you say the 15th?
Pending the health inspector's review, he's going to be there possibly as early as tomorrow. We're trying to get him open for tomorrow.
Kudos to everyone.
Truncated time period to get his operation up and going.
Kudos to everyone that came together to make that happen and open up a few days earlier than we said we were going to. So
thank you. I'll definitely pass that along. People worked hard.
Great. Adam, I just wanted to ask real quick, do we know where we are so far with membership? How it's going?
I think it was around 200, just a little north of that. But 3 weeks ago, it was like 60.
Okay.
So I think once word got out of what was actually happening, there was a big rush. And I expect more will come as people come. And look, we've had 4 days of phenomenal weather. So we continue to get weather like that, as we know that's one of the driving forces.
Right. Good. Thanks.
All right, anyone else? No? Okay, thank you, Mr. Burke.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, public hearing on ordinance number 2020-05. Ms. Marsh? You're muted, Carol.
Trying to be helpful. Okay, this is ordinance number 2020-05, establishing minimum and maximum salaries and pay rates for designated officials and employees of the Township of Pequannock.
Are there any comments from council? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I forgot.
Melissa got shot out on that one.
You know what happened? I forgot I was on mute.
I know, I saw you talking, but I didn't hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay, if anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized and identify yourself for the record. Mr. Burr.
Mr. Mayor, no hands have been raised.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make
I'll
that.
make them. Go ahead, Dave. Dave made it.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All righty, all in favor? Aye.
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 Excellent. Okay. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2020-05.
Is there a second?
I
I'll
can
make
say.
that second. Mr. Cole? He's got it. Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Phelan,
Oh, he's on mute.
You're muted, Rich.
Pardon the interruption, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Phelan just called me and let me know that he's having a technical issue, so he's going to log off and log back on.
Okay, so we'll hang out, wait for him for a second. I love technology.
We can see you, Rich.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Here's the other computer over here.
Does it sound any better?
We got two pictures of Rich now.
Yeah, Rich is up twice.
Does that mean he gets 2 votes?
Rich.
All right, let me shut the other one down. Okay, try it now.
All right, we're going to do the roll. I'm going to start the roll call all over again on the motion to adopt ordinance 2020-05.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, and you don't have any
I'm good.
verb on you.
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Phelan,
Rich?
you're muted.
Can't hear you. You're muted.
Rich, you're muted.
Okay, my speakers weren't on. I vote yes.
Yes. Mrs. Russell,
Abstain.
abstain.
Abstain. I have a son who works for,
I heard.
Yes. All righty. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2020-06. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2020-06, providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, and appropriating the sum of $559,800 for financing thereof.
Okay, are there any comments from council?
Nope, we went over them.
Right. Again, these are all the normal things that we've already approved in the budget, correct? Adam?
This represents a portion of the capital budget, and as discussed, the strategy to mitigate the potential loss of revenue is not to do the full $1.5 million plan, but to do $559,800 of that at this point.
Okay. Is there a motion to open? I'm sorry. Are there any other questions? Seeing
No.
none. Is there a motion to open to the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please raise your hand. Wait to be recognized and identify yourself for the record. Mr. Brewer?
Give everybody just a minute, Mr. Mayor, and make sure. There are no hands raised, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, seeing none. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
A roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Phelan,
Yes.
Mrs. Russell,
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next on the agenda is a public hearing on ordinance number 2020-07. Ms. Marsh?
Ordinance number 2020-07 is an ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock Sewer Utility in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, and appropriating the sum of $55,000 for financing thereof.
Are there any comments from council?
No.
Seeing none, is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent.
Aye.
If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please raise your hand, wait to be recognized, and identify yourself for the record. Mr. Brewer?
Mr. Mayor, no hands have been raised.
Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Can I get
I'll
a second?
second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Phelan. Does that count, Bob?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell,
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes. All right. Next on the agenda is a public hearing on ordinance number 2020-08. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2020-08 is an ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock Water Utility in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, and appropriating a sum of $55,000 for financing thereof.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the council? Seeing none, is there a motion to open the public meeting? Hearing, sorry.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on 2020-08.
Can I
Second.
get a second? Oh, I gave that to Rich. He was quicker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please raise your hand, wait to be recognized, and identify yourself for the record. Mr. Brewer.
And just so we're clear for the audience, it's, it's a little confusing, financing thereof. These are all items that we're paying cash. We're not financing any of these.
Yeah, there's no issuance of debt. There are no hands raised, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make that motion to adopt ordinance 2020-08.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Phelan,
Yes.
Mrs. Russell,
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes. Okay, there are no ordinance scheduled for introduction at this time. Next on the item is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
Begin with Resolution R 2020-133, authorizing release of deposits for construction in a township right-of-way. R 2020-134, confirming the designated memberships in the Pequannock Township Fire Department. That's for Tyler Carson and John Bergero. R 2020-135, providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the 2020 budget pursuant to NJSA 48:4-87, Chapter 159 of Public Law 1948. Resolution 2020-136, authorizing $44,000 bid threshold effective July 1st, 2020. And R 2020-137, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the June 3rd, 2020 bill list.
Thank you. Are there any comments on the resolutions from council? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a
Make the
motion.
motion to adopt resolution 2020-133 through 2020-137.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Phelan,
Yes.
Mrs. Russell,
Yes.
Mayor Hurd.
Yes. All right, next on the agenda, items for discussion. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a few items this evening. The first up is Woodland Lake. So as a result of, I assume, the restrictions associated with coronavirus, and predominantly because Woodland Lake is a beautiful facility, there were some issues in mid to late May with significant overuse. The issues were brought to our attention by a number of interested residents. I know some members of council were also contacted about it. We then reviewed the physical layout of the parking lot because there were parking problems, as well as the code as it applied to who would be allowed to fish and boat on the lake. The ordinance does, we found, have a conflict where one section says fishing shall be for residents only, and then the section, which I believe was adopted after that, talks about a fee for residents and non-residents. So we've been operating under the approach that residents and non-residents can pay for a badge, which will allow them to have access to fish and or boat. So in late May, we installed some no parking signs to try to control the parking, and the park ranger and the police department significantly stepped up the enforcement, which I got feedback from some of the residents that regularly use the park that there was a positive effect of that. The demand for people who just showed up without registering or securing the necessary badge was significantly less. The question still remains what to do with the conflict in the ordinances. So I scheduled the matter for discussion with the council because, one way or the other, my recommendation would be that we clarify this, because even if we're moving through the codification process, we should probably take legislative action to indicate whether non-residents would be able to fish and or non-residents would be able to boat on the lake. Now, with respect to general access to the park and walking around the lake, that's something that has to be open to the public. But as Mr. Oostdijk and I discussed, the regulation of fishing and boating can be restricted if the council so chooses.
I think we should strike the non-residents for Woodland Lake and Woodland Lake only and make it only boating and fishing for residents. That's my opinion on that.
I agree with Dave.
I agree with Dave also.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I do have one quick question though. When the person is there renting out the canoes and boats and stuff, if somebody didn't have a permit and they were not from the town, would she issue that, or they would have to go to town hall?
We haven't had that for some time. It's something that I know Mr. Andrea and the Parks Advisory Committee and other folks wanted to see come back. I know there was a plan, I think, to buy a kayak in 2018 or 19. So that's something we would have to look into. Right now, that's not an issue.
But
Okay.
I just have one thing I wanted to bring up, because I know we changed this a couple of years ago, with the resident, non-resident. But now if somebody buys a membership to both swimming and Woodland Lake, they still couldn't do that if they were out of town because they can't use Woodland Lake?
you're only going to be able to buy a membership now for PV Park.
Right. Right.
Yeah, there are 3 or 4 sections of the ordinance that would have to be updated because there is that joint membership as well as the conflicting sections here.
The only problem I see with it is how are we going to patrol or regulate who's there from town and who's there from out of town? I mean, we could put up
Right.
signs that is Pequannock residents only, but I don't think that, can we walk up to someone and say, hey, I need to see your license?
No, but we require residents to have permits too, don't we, Adam? So,
Yeah, but everyone is
Yes.
required to have a badge.
and if you can't get a
That's where
badge,
the enforcement comes in. Yeah, the police department or the park ranger says, I need to see your badge if you're fishing or if you're boating.
So if you don't have a badge, skedaddle.
Correct.
Okay, I'm good with that.
I'm fine with
Okay.
that.
You don't have a badge, whether you're a town resident or an out-of-town resident, you got to
Right.
leave.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm good with that.
And just to be clear for the benefit of the council and the audience, it's June 6th right now. We have to prepare the ordinance. The ordinance has to be introduced. It has to be adopted. I would say that this would be effective either very, very late in the 2020 season, but definitely for the 21 season.
I would shoot for 2021. I mean, the only reason it's an issue right now is because of COVID and everybody staying home. I think when it goes back to normal, we really haven't had an issue prior of, but looking forward, if this happens again, I think we have to take that in consideration. So,
Right.
And I think through talking to the people there, I think social media has had a significant impact on this, because once it was discovered by people, they then put out, hey, come on down. It's a beautiful place. But unfortunately, it got a little overrun.
Right.
that's very interesting.
All right, so Mr. Ustake and I will work to prepare an ordinance to amend the current code to clarify the boating and fishing at Woodland Lake will be for residents only.
Okay.
Okay. Next item for discussion is the fireworks schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledging the ever-changing world of executive orders, the issue that really came up with respect to the fireworks is the vendor. The vendor has to secure vehicles, they have to organize staff and everything else. As it is today, even with the potential changes that were announced by the governor that we haven't yet read, I don't think fireworks would be permitted based upon the size of the crowds that would draw. I think it puts the Board of Education in a tough spot because we do use their facilities as well. When we previously discussed what we were going to do with the fireworks, the discussion included the fact that we didn't have to make a decision then. Well, unfortunately now I think we need to give a decision to the fireworks vendor. I think it was Mr. Cole who raised the idea of moving them to the hoedown. We could move them without cost. We could move them without loss of any value of the event. But I did want to confirm that with council before doing anything with respect to the firework vendor. Is everyone okay if we do that?
So can we cancel them altogether or no?
Yes, we can cancel them and shift the deposit and everything else into 2021.
I don't know if we should cancel them. I mean,
No.
move them to
Yeah.
the hoedown. I'd like to see them move to the hoedown.
Are you sure the hoedown's going to happen?
And
The
if
only
we,
problem is the hoedown's not till October this year.
Yeah, the
Correct.
hoedown got moved.
The hoedown's really late, so maybe we can do something around Memorial Day.
The
You mean
challenge with Memorial Day is we have them on June 26th. We don't have them on the 4th of July. There's only a handful of vendors that do
I mean Labor Day, sorry.
Yeah, I
That's
knew
right.
that.
I knew
I
what you
meant
meant.
Labor Day.
I don't know if we can get to Labor Day because we are one of only 2 towns left that our vendor deals with that has yet to give any direction. So I don't know if we could have a show on Memorial Day. Maybe.
So are we going to shoot the fireworks off at 6 o'clock at night because it's going to be dark on October 15th?
Yeah,
Could.
I do think the hoedown's too late because it's not until October 18th. So tell me again, I missed something. We can do it earlier or no?
we don't change the clocks until the end of October, correct? Daylight
True.
November 4th, right before marathon.
So, I mean,
It's going to be dark. Rich does not.
yeah, I still say, you know what, we shoot them off at the normal time that we would shoot them off, 8 o'clock at night after the hoedown. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
I'd rather not
What
Is
about
the
for
hoedown on a
September-
Sunday?
Saturday.
What about
Rain
after
date
street
is the
fair?
Sunday.
Oh, okay, so it's on a Saturday. I
Yeah.
think it's too late. I would just like to see it done earlier, maybe pick a random date
Well, what
in
about street
September.
fair, which is September 20th?
We could also
Yeah,
pick any date that the council sees fit and have celebrate the Township of Pequannock and beautiful fireworks day.
What's the day of the street fair?
September 20th.
My only comment with the street fair is I think
Sunday.
street fair, that's a Sunday?
That's a
Yeah.
Sunday.
And I think the majority of the people that attend the street fair are from out of town. It's not really
Yeah.
an event.
Yeah, no, you're right. It either needs to be the hoedown or we need to pick a random day earlier. I just don't.
How about we save the money?
I think the residents really would like it. I think
I
we have.
think the residents need it. Like,
Yeah.
I just think there needs to be. We need to get back to normal here. Adam, what if you asked him what dates he has available?
Yeah. Can we
Well,
get?
I'm sure
any-
anything, my guess is anything not around Memorial Day. I mean, we could do something
I mean, Labor Day.
kind of toward the end of the year as we're winding down at PV Park. Maybe we could do something in collaboration with that. If the council wants to see some proposal, we need to give them an answer with respect to the 26th of June ASAP. With respect to another date, I think we've got a little bit of time. So if the council's okay with canceling the 26th, perhaps I can work with the staff to come up with some recommendations of some ideas to incorporate a fireworks show into a nice event for the township.
That's a good idea.
That's a good. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because the original date was what? The 26th?
June 26th, correct.
Yeah. I would suggest not to pick a random date. I think it should be to celebrate something. So if we can't do Labor Day, what about like the following weekend? Like again, hey, kids are going back to school. It's a little more normal. At least something than just like, Tuesday the 5th.
Yeah, we'll work to come up with some ideas. If any of you have any ideas, we'll create a menu and then we can schedule it for discussion in the future so an ultimate decision can be made.
Yeah. Wait, hey, just out of curiosity, was June 26th still an option or no?
It's an option with the firework vendor. I don't think we could do it with whatever version of the executive orders will most likely be in place by that point.
All right. In other words, we might be able to, but we're not going to know until the executive order.
Well, at the rate that things change, I'm not going to speculate.
Right.
My guess is a mass gathering of hundreds could be problematic.
Right. Of course.
He said 500 today at some point without a date, and maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. There were a lot of caveats with that.
Yeah. No, it's too soon anyway. I was just trying to figure out if it was allowed. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, today it's not allowed.
Right.
Tomorrow, I don't know.
It could be. Yeah.
But we have to make a decision. And all the other towns around us have canceled. So, I mean, if we could pull it off somehow, I mean, I guess another issue would be, well, we could be inundated by everybody because nobody else is having their fireworks.
Right, right.
So.
Let's see what you can come up with during, around the end of closing of the lake or Labor Day. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll come up with some ideas. And again, if any of you have them, let me know and we'll put together a bunch of stuff and talk about it in the future.
Okay.
All right. And then if there's no other questions on fireworks, the next discussion item is outdoor restaurant seating. As we're hearing about in the press and associated with an option to kind of support the restaurant community. Right now, in order to expand the seating for a restaurant would have to come in and do an amended site plan application before the planning board, which takes time and professionals and money and things like that. So based upon an inquiry the township received several weeks ago from one of our restaurants in town, we did some research. I shared with the council, and it's in the packet on the website. There's a resolution, that East Brunswick did. Based upon that resolution, Mr. Oostdijk and Jill Hartman, the township's planner, provided some input, crafted the draft resolution that is shared with the council in the packet. You can not do anything. We can revise it. We can schedule it for future discussion. But based upon how fast things are moving and what I believe is a collective desire on behalf of the township council to do whatever is possible, I didn't want to come up with something just to talk about tonight. There is something that we can take action.
I read through it. The only thing that I would like to see removed is, but tents shall not be permitted.
I agree with Dave.
What does it say? The what?
Tents.
It says tents shall not be permitted.
Oh, okay.
I think that needs to come out. I mean, if
Yeah,
the
I don't.
restaurant has a big enough spot that they could put up a tent,
Right.
let them put up a tent.
I mean,
Yeah,
all I
this way
can
they
say
can
is
breathe.
I want to do everything we can to make sure they can do their outdoor seating, you know,
I
with
agree.
reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we
Regardless of
can
weather.
remove that from the draft. What I don't know is that, so we're not prohibiting it. What I don't know is that at the end of the day, a tent is going to be permitted under whatever rules health department and the state have in common. So we can delete it so that it's not our rules stopping it.
right.
But let's not get the word around. Go ahead and put up tents because I'm not certain that tents are going to be allowed under executive.
Right.
Yeah, depending on the size of tents, depending upon the structure of the tents, I think there's a lot of things, but if you don't mind me jumping in on Bob's heels, there's a
Yeah.
fire code component to tents and there's other dynamics. So provided it's acceptable in other areas,
Let's not make.
essentially what this does is this, if the council acts favorably on this resolution, it allows the zoning officer through the zoning permit process to permit this. That's essentially what this resolution would provide.
Okay, it's important for us to do whatever we can to help our businesses.
And
I agree with Rich. Whatever we
Yeah.
need to do to enable our businesses to at least get up to par, whether it's restaurants, whether it's store groomers, whether it's hair
Yeah.
salons, whatever we need to do, let's make that happen.
Let's
So
do it.
I
Yeah.
am for the resolution with the tweak that Mr. Cole said.
Yeah, let's not advertise it, but let's just remove it from our ordinance.
How quickly can we get this passed?
I think we plan on passing it tonight.
Even better.
Yeah.
Good. And we're waiving the fee, correct?
Correct.
That is correct.
Good.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Second
second.
it.
Second it.
Carol, do you want to number the resolution?
Can't hear you, Carol.
Sorry about that.
Right.
This will be resolution R 2020-138, permitting temporary outdoor seating for restaurants during a pandemic shutdown of retail and commercial businesses in the township of Pequannock.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think that's a roll call vote.
Yeah.
Sorry, roll call.
All right, give me 1 second. Get to the right page here. Mrs. Florence Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Cole,
Absolutely, with the removal of the tent.
got it. Mr. Phelan,
100%.
Mrs. Russell,
Definitely.
Mayor Hurd.
Can't do it fast enough, absolutely.
Great.
All right, thank you. Moving on. There are no reports or notices. Next on the agenda is council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Okay. I don't have too many things today. My committees didn't meet since our last meeting. The only thing I wanted to bring up, two things. I know that the chamber has been doing a great job. They had sent out to all the businesses to, information to help them take advantage of grants if needed. So they're doing a good job keeping in touch with the businesses. I'm glad we're passing that tonight to help the businesses and the restaurants be able to do their outdoor dining, and whatever we can do for the business community, we should be doing, as I know we are. What else? I did not get to attend it personally, but I know we had the event, the march on this weekend at the municipal building, and I just wanted to say kudos to everybody. I understand it went really well. The police, helped with the event, and I think, I'm proud of the town. I think everybody that came out, the young students that came out and led that rally did a great job. So, I just think it was well run and everybody was respected. So kudos to everybody on that. The other thing I wanted to mention, I did get a couple of people were just talking about, now that the warm weather is here, there's a lot of bicycle and pedestrians walking, running, and a lot of bicycles. I don't know what we can do help slow down the cars. But I know it's somebody's going to get clipped because there's just, people are not paying attention. I mean, and the bicycles too. I mean, I know, they have the right of way, but everybody's got to kind of be cautious. And I know there's been a couple of close calls. So I don't know what we can do. I'm sure we have this speed radar thing out, right? Do we have that out, Adam? And moving that around?
We usually move that around to hot spots, but I'll follow up with the acting chief and ask for specific enforcement. Because as we know, when things got a little quieter on the roads, the speeds got insane.
Yeah.
I also think, Melissa, a lot of people ride side by side on the boulevard, and they've got to be told you can't ride two next to each other.
No, you're absolutely right. I said, and that's why I said the bicyclists as well. I mean, it's not just the cars; it's the kids on the bicycles as well. So you're right.
And, they also need to understand is you're supposed to walk against the grain of traffic. I walk every day now, and it's unbelievable how many people are walking with traffic. If you walk against the grain and someone's coming at you, you can actually see it. But if you're not and you have your back to them, you're not going to see them. So I know the police did advertise that bicycles should be going with traffic, but Kyle's right. I mean, there's numbers of bicycles that are 2, 3 across the.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what we can do. I just wanted to bring it to your attention and see what we can do just to.
But I also agree with you. There's a lot of cars speeding. So I think.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't really have anything. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I agree with everybody because you have to run and walk towards the grain, and I have been clipped. And people don't pay attention. So. Especially when you're going across the grain because they're not looking that way, they're looking at the other way. So everybody's got to be careful. All right, Councilman Cole, you're up.
We did have our first Zoom planning board meeting on June 1st.
Yes.
That went well. There wasn't much on the agenda, but we were able to get through it. I mean, there was a few minor tweaks and issues, but we did get through it. It's interesting having, 15 people that can speak all at the same time, but it went well. So I did attend the march this Saturday at Town Hall. The police did a fantastic job with the young students and college students. And that's, it was a peaceful event. So that's all I'll, have to say about that. And other than that, I don't have anything. I haven't really. Fair housing hasn't met. Frank has been doing a lot of the work himself. Without the Fair Housing Committee. That's Frank Piazza, the new guy we have doing that. He is keeping us informed. First Aid Squad hasn't met because I guess they're trying to keep as many people away from each other as possible. So I can't. To be honest with you, I can't wait till we get back to normal. I'm tired of sitting home, doing work, at home. I'm much better going out and being in the field. I'm not a sitter, so my butt hurts sitting here all day for 8 hours. But that's it. Enjoy the beautiful weather.
Oh, thank you for that reflection from the Cole household. All right, Councilman Phelan, please.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed the, I don't want to say protest, the march on Saturday. Unfortunately, because of my condition right now, I could not attend. However, I do want to say that I support our police department 100%, and I'm sure everybody here supports them 100%. They do an outstanding job. They are all great guys. We all know them. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands that we do support our police department 100%. We have great guys. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Phelan. Deputy Mayor Russell, you're up.
Yes, I just want to reiterate what Rich said. I didn't have any meetings, but I do want to say that our police department is amazing. They are great. And I also want to give a shout out. We have a lot of families in this town, and their husbands are also state troopers or troopers in other towns, and And, you know, the stories you hear are pretty rough. And I just want to tell them that I support them. We all support them. And we think they're doing a heck of a job. It's tough right now. It's tough on everybody. Tensions are high from being locked up for what feels like ever. And hopefully we can start getting these things loosened and everybody can get out and get back to normal. That being said, I heard the demonstration was peaceful. I'm glad it went well. I know everybody was a little concerned that there's the possibility of having another element come in and cause trouble. And thankfully it didn't happen. It sounds like the organizers were very good. They communicated with the police, and I'm very thankful that it went well. And I'm glad it did. And that's it.
So with that said, Adam, is it possible we could repaint the blue line in front of the town hall if the council agrees to it? Because I heard today that a town decided to black it out, and I was appalled when I heard that.
So I would go blue.
Well, and one comment on that. I know, I'll say this. The town I was working in when that movement initiated, we decided not to paint the blue line because it is a violation of DOT regulations. So I know
I don't care about that.
Oh, okay. And
I agree with Rich.
And that's the council's prerogative, but I just want to make it known. And our comment at the time was we support the police department, and we showed how we did it. But if the council wants to repaint the blue line, I'll follow whatever direction the council wants to provide.
I want to paint it.
I'll pay for the paint. Anybody want to help me roll it on?
I want to paint it also.
There you go.
I think it needs to be sprayed.
No, I mean, I think we should definitely do it if we can do it without any repercussions, right? You're saying even though it's not in line, we have the right to do it.
If the council directs the blue line to be painted, the blue line will be painted.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yes.
Bob, you have an opinion on that, Bob?
I do not. I know many towns did it. I did hear the same thing Adam did, that it was against DOT regulations to paint it any color, but there didn't seem to be any repercussions when it was done. So
They can stop by and talk to me.
All righty. Anything else, Miss Russell? All righty. Thank you.
Oh, I just, wait, one more shout out. Ryan has been also, Melissa, you talked about the chamber letting people know. I think our own mayor, Ryan Hurd, has done a great job of putting that stuff out there for people also.
Oh,
and
yes, he has.
Thank you, Ryan, for that.
Yeah, good job.
Thank
Can
you.
I
I
give
appreciate
one
that.
Shout out.
Yes, Mr. Cole.
Doing shout outs. I'll tell you, Dave Vassilenko has done a great
Yes.
job getting the community together, doing a lot of good, raising money for different families that need a hot meal, need groceries, and he's made it fun. So
I was just going to say, he made quarantine fun.
yeah, kudos to Dave Vassilenko.
Good job.
I agree on that one 100%. Okay, I've just got a few quick things. Actually, I've got an ask from the Cub Scouts. We want to know, when can we take over Greenview Park and have our camp out? Because, these guys have been itching to go out. We've been quarantined with COVID. Any idea when we can have a
You have to
camp
ask the
out?
governor.
I know, but I mean, this is getting ridiculous. We really need to get outside and go camping. I gotta
July
tell you.
6th. Aren't-
July 6th. There you go. So on the 7th, can we take over Greenview Park? Historic Committee did meet. It was, thin as far as the conversations. One interesting thing is we got 2 pins donated by a nurse that worked at the original Chilton, and it was a 15-year and a 20-year pin. That was really interesting. So that gets added to our collection. Our Open Space Committee met as well. There are the new maps at the kiosks for the river trail. So that's good. I actually was able to check them out on one of my runs. And interesting note, when the river is low, you can actually cross underneath 23 and get to the other side. And there's some interesting things over there. Speaking of running, this morning, I am running at 5 a.m. And at 5:55 a.m., I see 2 guys on Turnpike drinking their coffee and spraying the weeds. And they are our own DPW guys. I mean, 5:55 a.m. It's not even 6 a.m. And I literally stopped, like, what are you guys doing out here? They're just doing their thing and working on the town. And, you know, so I want to give a big shout out to DPW. I know that these guys work really hard. I do see them when they're getting the fields ready and everything, but I mean, 5:55 guys, that's awesome. They really do care about the town. So that is good. Lastly, I will talk about the, I want to say peaceful protest, I guess is the best way of doing it. I do want to congratulate Liam because he put it on, as well as the kids over, I want to say kids, I want to say actually young adults, because I got to say that these guys really tried to pound out in their social media that this is a peaceful protest. I'm very proud that they kept it peaceful. Our amazing township police, they are amazing. You know, they're ready for anything, which is great. They protect us all the time. When you call 911, these are the guys that answer, and they do a phenomenal, phenomenal job. So I just want to say, isn't America great? You know, this is the only country that recognizes and protects your God-given right to speak your mind and peacefully protest. And you know what? That's what we saw. That was a great example of that right here in Pequannock. I applaud the group of our own young adults that not only put it on, but emphasize the need for peaceful in their flyers, as well as their online posts. So again, kudos to everybody that put it on. I really appreciate the police. You guys are awesome. Thank you for keeping myself and my family safe. And let's get that blue line painted. So that is all I have.
I agree, Ryan, 100%.
That was awesome. Okay, moving right along. Next on the agenda is public comment. If anybody wishes to address the council, please raise your hand and wait to be recognized and provide your name and address for the record. Mr. Brewer.
I do have one person who's asking to participate. I will allow him to talk.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Welcome. I can hear you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Dave Holberg, 289 Boulevard, Pompton Plains. How are you all?
Welcome, Mr. Holberg.
Good.
How have you been?
Doing good.
So relative to your discussion about fireworks, here's my suggestion. You can take it or leave it. In 1999, going 2000, we did a fireworks on New Year's Eve, which was fairly well attended. I think a lot of people are going to be anxious to see 2020 over. So maybe January 1st, New Year's might be an appropriate time to kind of say out with the old, in with the new.
That's kind of a pretty cool idea.
That is a great idea.
Secondly, I just have a question about PV Park. The concessionaire, there was a minimum bid amount required as part of that bid. Are they still being held to that minimum amount? Have they paid it, or is there an adjustment made for the short time?
The selection process was undertaken using competitive contracting, so it was price and other factors. We're working to see what we want to make sure everything comes to fruition before any final determinations are made.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holberg. Mr. Brewer, anyone else?
There are no other hands raised, Mr. Mayor.
All right. If you could write down that New Year's Eve and pass that by Parks and Rec, that's kind of an interesting idea. All right, next on the agenda is minutes for approval. We have May 12th, 2020 and May 26th, 2020. Did everybody get a chance to review these minutes?
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to approve these minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Next on the agenda is closed session. However, there are no items for closed session. Excellent. So there being no further business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I get a second. All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, meeting adjourned at 7:53 p.m. Thank you,
Have a good
everybody.
rest of the week, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate your time.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.